Hey, second grade. Happy Wednesday. It's good to see everyone again. We're going to go ahead. Yesterday we drafted our beginning and we needed to go on to our middle. So if you didn't do yesterday's lesson, I need you to go back so that we can follow it in order and have our draft done in the correct order. So I'm going to go ahead and share with you. Today is writing lesson 5, day number 9. So we are on drafting our middle. So hello, Herschel. Hey, we're going on that path. We are down on step 5 still in their middle area. So we're going to build on from what we did yesterday to today. So please make sure you have your iReady writing book and a pencil. You need those 2 things today, iReady writing book and a pencil. Our objectives today are I can draft the middle and end of a lab report. I can write steps of a lab report. And I can draw conclusions about the results of an experiment. Whew. So we're going to be working on that middle part in our steps. So that is what our quick write at the end, but we have to get there first. So please make sure you open your book to page 148 so that we can get started. 148, 100, 4 tens, 8 ones, 148. So we have drafted the beginning of your lab report, and you're going to continue by writing a draft of the middle today. So remember, we can also still use our mentor text. So we're going to write the middle. So we're going to first read about the change in Leah's experiment. So then we're going to write our first change. Okay. So here's our mentor text. Let's go ahead and read it. First, I put the fulcrum near my hand. I place the book on the other end of the yardstick and I push down on the lever. The end of the lever closest to me was very short. It was hard to lift the book. Okay. So we're going to draw a box around the change that Leah had made. So the first thing she said, let me get my pencil ready. The first thing she said, I put the fulcrum near my hand. So that is the whole first sentence is what the first change was. She put the fulcrum near my hand. First change, okay? All right. Number 2 says, underline Leah's results. The end of the lever was closest to me was very short. The result was the very last sentence. It was hard to lift the book. So you can see she stated what the change was. She explained what it looked like. And then she said what her results were. It was hard to lift. All right. So now, we're going to go ahead and think about, before we draft our middle, we need to think about, well, first of all, how many changes did Leah make to placement of the fulcrum? There was 2, right? So we need to make sure we think about our 2 changes to our bottle car. Who's going to be reading our report? Right, we talked about that was visitors to the science fair. So we're aiming to our audience when we're writing. We're going to talk to our audience and we're going to write it to our friends or visitors, and making sure that they understand it by making sure that there are clear and context clues to help define unfamiliar words to them. Okay, so we can also use our lines on page 143 to remember your changes and results. Remember those if-then statements we wrote? So we wrote, if I do this, then this will happen when we did our experiment. So I remember from that page that the first thing we did was we added a handful of stones to the car. Okay, so that's the first thing. I want to make sure I copy very similar format to what Leah did. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to write the first thing that we did. So the first thing was first, comma, I added a handful of stones to the car. All right. So that's the first thing we did. What did we do once we put those into the car? Pause it here if you need to finish writing this. What did we do? After we added the stones, we raced it again, right? We raced it against the car without stones in order to see the difference, right? I raced it against the car without stones. There we go. what happened then? So we stated what we did to make the change, what we did with that change, what were the results? Our results were the then, right? If we added stones to the car, then the car with stones went faster every time, right? So the car with stones went faster every time. There we go. So that is my middle, part of my middle, right? I want you guys to think about what the second thing we did, right? So we could say, first, I added a handful of stones to the car. I raced it against the car without stones. The car with stones went faster every time. All right, the next thing we say was, second, what did we do second? Well, let's go back and look. I'm gonna go back and look at my book in front of me. Oh, we moved the ramp, right? So second, we made the ramp, I made the ramp steeper. All right, so then I raced it against the car at the normal ramp height. Well, what happened after that? The car with the higher ramp went a lot faster every time, right? So we're gonna state what we did, what our change was, how we tested it, and then what the results were. So make sure that you're following that format to add the second step, right? We can't just add the first step. We have to tell them what the second step was as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and clip this out. So if you haven't copied this, copy this down so that you have an idea of how to write this second step. I wanna see you guys doing more of this on your own and being able to copy this format, okay? So using page 145 to help us, our if-then statements, okay? So I'm gonna clear all this out. Your objective for the day is to please go ahead, not objective, sorry, your quick write task for the day is to please go ahead and copy your draft of the middle to page 158. Do not forget to add that second step, what we did, the second change we made. So the first change with the rocks and the second change with the ramp, make sure you have both things added to your draft. So that is your job today. All right, so I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your Wednesday, and I look forward to doing more writing with you tomorrow. See y'all tomorrow.